Hi, welcome. So this is Capital Races Club. Today's host, me, Samson, and today's topic is why LinkedIn is the number one platform where for finding qualified leads for your business, for your investments, for your real estate deals. I'm going to cover the topic a little bit. At any point when you feel like you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. If you'd like to come here backstage, join us on the stage here, feel free. We start with Clubhouse. We're now on YouTube, we're on Facebook Live, we're on LinkedIn Live, and wherever you're watching this from, feel free to put in the comments where you're watching from, where you're at right now. We're currently in Mexico, and we've been here since October, first in Mexico City, and now we're in Veracruz. And anyways, so first I'm going to share a couple of facts about what I've done on LinkedIn. So since August 2021, about 6 months ago, it's more like 5 months, I started to post more actively. And in the beginning, posting feels like pain because I was not used to it. And also commenting was another, big step for me that, hey, people can actually watch this comment later. People can go back to it later. And that created this barrier of what if what I'm saying is wrong and whatnot. Now, what I found out in the past couple of months is the more you comment, the more you engage, the more you create these relationships through not just commenting on creators' posts, videos, and whatnot. You also reach out and see if there's a good synergy between you, and perhaps you can start working together that way. So in August, I believe I was around 1,000 connections. 4 months prior, I had 250 connections. So I was networking like crazy. And all the networking events that I went to within the real estate space, I went to many meetups, mainly, and here's a great great group for y'all who are in commercial real estate. Please go to gobnetwork.com and apply to become a member. That way you have access to a lot of the meetups that I frequently go to. So there are great people, and I'm going to put it here in the network. So today's sponsor is, incidentally, GOB Network too. Hey, Jeff, welcome. Wait, I see you in the backstage. Hey, Jeff. You're on camera now. Are you there? Can you hear me? Wait, I'm gonna just to be sure. Can you hear me, Jeff? We'll come back to Jeff in a minute. Meanwhile, I'll continue. Sorry about that. So yeah, as I was saying, definitely apply to join in the GOB network to get more connections, to expand your network and your net worth that way too. Find more deals, find more investors, active and passive, and I highly recommend it. So back to the topic of, does it work better now? Jeff?
Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Wait a minute. Maybe it's volume. Hang on.
Could
Say
be.
something.
Hi, how are you doing? I can hear you perfectly. Oh, man. Hamad, I see you in the comments. Do you hear me okay? Because sometimes we have, this is streamed to pro places, so it could be a little bit of glitch behind the scenes. But I guess you wouldn't be here this long unless you could hear me. So let's continue. So what I noticed going from 250 connections and followers on LinkedIn to 1,000 in August. I did that mainly through networking in groups, meetups, events, and every time, every time, keep those relationships strong by connecting on a different platform rather than
Hey, I
just
could
on.
hear you.
Can you hear me? Beautiful.
I can hear you now.
Awesome. We're talking about the ways of utilizing LinkedIn and also, wait, why LinkedIn is the number one platform for creating, for attracting qualified leads for businesses, for investors, for, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur or you're doing business, LinkedIn is the platform where you find most qualified leads. So, hey, Jeff, would you like to introduce yourself? We had an interview
Sure.
a little bit ago. Maybe some people didn't see it. So,
Okay. Yeah, I'm Jeff Greenberg. I'm a recovering syndicator. Right now, I run a private equity fund, which is I bring passive investors into highly qualified deals, commercial, different aspects of commercial real estate. So I enjoy just hanging out, meeting people, and finding good deal sponsors and people that want to join me for the ride. So that's about me.
awesome. Very happy to have you here, Jeff. Always a pleasure, and we always learn something from you. So, very, very grateful that you're here. Any questions that you have in the chats, or people who are watching this from YouTube or from Facebook, feel free to put it in the chat. We'll bring it up sooner or later during this event. And also, remember, the more you put in the chat, the more you put yourself out there, the easier it is for everybody else to see. Hey, this person is very engaging. I would like to connect with him. So that's some of the things that I've done in the networking events that I go to. I'm not spamming the chat with just this is me, this is me, this is me. I share about, oh, this is something that's interesting that you're talking about. How do you, go deeper into this part, or this I find interesting? How do you do this part? So by engaging, you create interest. By showing interest, you're also attracting interest. So that doesn't just go for these networking meetups. It also goes for when you're connecting on LinkedIn. Uh, what I've seen in the past, I mean, I've only been active posting and commenting active. That's what I would say is active on LinkedIn. Not if you're just there and like something, react sometimes, you're still inactive because we can't really see that. But actively posting, actively engaging, and actively commenting for about 6 months now. And what I've noticed is a lot of people are reaching out to me in the DMs. They're sending connection requests, and the best kind of connection request that I get can be just nothing in the connection request. I actually accept. Uh, I would say 99% of people who reach out to me. The few that I don't accept is because you either lack a profile picture or you look like you're a business. You're not a person. So I have I accept everybody else except for people that I really don't know anything about because it doesn't say anything about them. And what I've noticed is when you send that first message and you open up the conversation, maybe you put a personalized connection request. That's a great way of starting a relationship on a good foot or a good note. One of the things that I really appreciate is when people send me voice text or a video saying, "Hey," because that takes time on the person reaching out. When I'm reaching out to people, and so I usually just send a connection request. I meet somebody somewhere, and 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 what I've noticed is that the times that I send those voice texts or video as first, maybe first that, "Hey, what are you up to?" or "Hey, this is why I reached out to you," and then I do a personalized voice text for the person that I'm connecting with, saying, "I really like this about you. I would like to learn more about this part about you, and this is what I'm doing." I would love to meet with you. Whatever I say very personal. So it's different each and every time. And why I do that on LinkedIn is because doing the same thing on Facebook. Okay, wait. Let's not talk bad about any of the other platforms. Let's just say the quality of the profiles, the quality of the content, and the quality of the events on LinkedIn has, for me at least, been more fruitful than the other platforms. So uh, that's what that's why I highly recommend um, tuning up your profile, making it a little bit more personal when you're reaching out, and I could maybe cover some of the things that you can do in your profile just to get a good start and starting it off good. So first of all, your profile photo does matter. Like I said earlier, if you don't have one and you reach out to me, I will not accept that connection request. How about you, Jeff? Do you accept when somebody connects with you, they don't really say why they want to reach out with you, and also they don't have a profile photo?
Well, no, I won't do it with a photo. I want to know a little bit about people. One thing I know I don't like is when people reach out to me and the first time they meet me, the first time they communicate with me, they're already putting in a commercial.
Yeah,
It's already, oh, I looked at your website and nice website, but it sucks. Um, you know, I really resent that somebody's starting with their commercial right off the bat, that we don't get to know each other before they say anything about or know anything about what I'm doing. But
yeah,
yeah, I want to know a little bit about them. I want to get a relationship before they tell me they want to work with me and can do wonderful things for my business.
yeah, exactly. And pitch slapping is something that I learned from Jonah this week, where basically you put that pitch in their face, and that's how it feels. You're not necessarily, starting the relationship in a really good way by saying all of these things, and it kind of comes across as just being a little bit ignorant, to say the least. Um, how would you prefer being approached on LinkedIn, Jeff?
Well, typically I mean, if somebody really thinks that there's something that we could do together or just want to learn some more, is just reaching out, maybe asking some questions, or maybe we can, communicate a little bit first, and, just to kind of see if there is something that we could do together. Not just throwing out the commercial.
Yeah,
Just if they want to build a relationship, fine. If they want to learn about my business, but without giving me their big advertisement.
yeah,
And sometimes it's a gray line as far as doing that, because and I have to say that on certain situations, like on the UVA app, where you're meeting a bunch of people in the conference, you don't have much time to say much of anything. It's kind of, hi, how are you, hey, let's see if we can meet and if we have anything in common, but not a full-blown commercial.
yeah. There's another app that I'm not sure of the Yuba app. I haven't figured that one out yet. There's a lunch app. I forgot what it's called, other than lunch thing. That one is pretty good. I mean, I found people with relationships on that app, and it's sort of this 45-minute meeting with a stranger. And
Hmm.
when that stranger and you get sort of linked, you get a little bit of info about them. You have their LinkedIn profile most of the time. If they don't have a LinkedIn profile, again, I'm not meeting with you because you don't exist. It's not that you don't exist, it's that I don't know enough about you. Your website doesn't show, and your other social media presence doesn't show in any way. For me, that feels almost scary. What is happening? So if you have a profile, I will go to your LinkedIn profile and I will look at it. So having a good profile picture, not necessarily a professional, everything has to be great. You can take one from your phone, but as long as I can see, this is you, it's not a picture of a tree. This is you. Also a little bit in the about me. My about me, I change it all the time. But at least there's something in the about me. That's describing what I do, how I can help you, who I help. Just those couple of things really starts off the relationship even before you meet with them. So I would say those things are very important. What are the things would you say are very important for you to connect with somebody, Jeff? Anybody in the comments who feel like sharing, feel free to put in your input, your questions, or your suggestions, because this is an open conversation. It's not just us here presenting everything. We want to have a networking event where we can talk and share about the things that we've learned about LinkedIn and attracting business that way.
Well, to answer your question, I mean, I like to, if somebody contacts me and lets me know that they know something about me, or they, have an idea of what they're looking for, sometimes it's somebody just saying, hey, I'd like, I understand you're experienced in commercial real estate. You know, can I talk to you for a little bit? I'm interested in getting involved. So I'm always willing to help out new people and to set up a 15-minute conversation or something. But it's something that they need to initiate, that they're curious about something, not trying to sell me on something. I'm more likely to do that. If I'm going to go find a vendor, I'm going to go find them. If they're looking for me, then they're probably not the ones that I want to work with. I mean, I would rather find somebody that I want to work with and talk to them. But the ones coming after me, for the most part, I'm probably not interested. Or I'm more
It's very
suspicious, I guess. When they're coming after me, I'm more suspicious.
but I find that very, I mean, that's fascinating. And that's also, I mean, that's also why it's so important to work on your brand, not just on your website, but also, do you search for people on LinkedIn when you're looking for, let's say, hey, I need an email marketer, or I need somebody to take care of this, task or whatnot. Do you search for them on Freelancer, or where do you go? And if so, do you also look them up on another platform, or specifically on that platform?
I'm going to look in my network. I'm going to look in my network for a reference. Essentially, for the most part, I'll go and I'll talk to people that I respect, talk to people that are using other people. I'm in the middle of right now deciding who I'm going to have helping me with my social media. And I'm talking to people that I have respect for, that who they're using. And, if they're happy with that person, and if they're seeing progress on what they're trying to accomplish, my network is worth so much more. I mean, people talk about your net worth is your network, but it's not just that. It's the network of people around you that can advise you and not be selling you on something. That's so much more important. A lot of times we talk about, okay, if you lost all of your money and you had to start over, what would you do? And it's reaching out to your network. If you lost your network, that would be a lot more damaging than losing your money. But if you have your network, you could go out to your network and start building things back up. So I think that's a critical element.
Hey Jeff, do you realize that that was the first question that I asked you on Clubhouse back in August 2nd on our, when we started?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you lose everything? Like, you have to start from scratch. Everybody, I say something, nothing terrible will happen. It's just everything that you worked for is gone. Now, what
Hmm.
the first thing is, you tap into that network. But what happens when you don't have the network
Well,
and nobody
that's the
knows
whole
you?
thing. Well, that's something you've got to build. And that's
Yeah,
why, for most people, it takes time to dive into this business. You need to develop that network of people that you can trust, people that you can call on and are going to give you honest answers, and maybe refer you to people. Being somebody that can refer somebody else to others, be a connector, is a great way to get involved. Is to help people, connect with others, because it is so important, um, you know, to your success.
it is. We have a great question from Cecilia. For those that don't know, we have the last name for a reason. We're married. And Cecilia Holmes asked, what would you say has been the most useful for you in building your LinkedIn account? Um,
Well, as far as my LinkedIn account, I have to admit that I have been remiss on a lot of my social media, and that's something that I'm in the process of working on. That I have not been very active in LinkedIn or Facebook or anything else. And that's a change that I'm making now, that I'm trying to get more involved in it. All of my networking has been more on the personal level. I've had been running meetups since 2005. I've gone to conferences, boot camps, all different things. I've been on, over 40 different podcasts. So I do get some from that, but most of it's that way. As far as actually on social media, it's been very limited. And that's something I need to be more active in. It isn't something that I'm real interested in, but I'm finding that's something I need to do. That's why I'm in the process of evaluating how I'm going to do that, because I want somebody else to do it for me. I don't particularly want to do it. I know that it's valuable, but I've got a lot of other things I'd rather be doing than putting stuff up on social media. So I'm probably not a good person to ask as far as, you know the success of social media, but I do know that a lot of people experience a lot of success with it. So it's something.
I could,
It's an evil that I'm going to have to dive into more.
yeah, I could share some of mine, what I did, um, starting in August, being active. The first things that I started with when I built my LinkedIn account was, first of all, from all the networking events that I went to, first the first place I networked with people was on LinkedIn. It wasn't, I didn't send them my Instagram account or my Clubhouse account or my whatever account like Twitter. I connected with, it's a business meeting. It's about commercial real estate. It's investments. It's a serious business. We connect on LinkedIn with each other and we build that relationship there. So that's how you take it off from the meeting, and then you take it offline. You have the calls later, or that's at least what I did. Another thing that I started to do was updated my banner, um, which a lot of people didn't do or didn't want to for whatever reason. I updated it to be something about me. Hey, this is what I do. This is how you can connect with me. Kind of easy. Some pointers on the banner is that clarity on who you're trying to reach. First of all, another is clarity why they should reach out to you. That's not just for the banner. That's also for your profile in general. Your profile needs to be approachable, and there needs to be a clear next step. On mine, when you go click on Samson Holmeros, you go to LinkedIn, you see that the banner says go to Capital Races Club. This is how you join our next live event. You go to www.capitalracesclub.com. We have an email list, um, and that way you have the next step in your banner. Another thing is Your LinkedIn is basically a website. It's basically your business website. It can also be it's your personal brand website. If there's one platform that has the highest level of, I wouldn't say authenticity, because that wouldn't be the right way, but if there's one where you can really vet if a person is serious about their business or not, you go to their LinkedIn profile when you're connected. Sometimes you have more access once you're connected. That's where you see that, hey, this is everything that you've been doing for all of these years. You have the resume, you have, how to connect with recommendations, the endorsements. All of those things matter before, at least for me in building my account, that was very, very important. But also, I posted daily. It's not for everybody. I comment more than I post. I comment 50 times more than I post, and I post every day. So you can, it's a lot of comments, and those comments are value adds. The posts are value comments, and gain traction that way. We have from Eric Pitzer in the comments said, "Good question." Okay, the question again, just so that we're staying on topic. What would you say has been the most useful for building your LinkedIn account? Was the question asked by Cecilia. And then Eric answered, good question. I would say it's the very short end of the growth line, so I don't have tremendous experience or expertise. For me, being personable when I send an invite, connecting authentically with the person, not the role, title, company, etc., and having the mindset to build relationships and share what I know and think to help others. That's beautiful, Eric. I want to connect with you right now. Like, seriously, that's the perfect way of commenting and adding value to an event. And now, how many people saw that on YouTube and we'll see it later, or on Facebook or on LinkedIn? And there you go. You're attracting more people that resonate with that message. And it's a perfect way to build your account, not just your account, but also your network. So I think that was a great summary.
One thing that I forgot to mention that is where I started from also was Bigger Pockets. I spent a lot of time on Bigger Pockets answering questions and helping people out. So by being real and helping people with questions, people got to know me and then would reach out and contact me. But I was on there almost every day looking to find any questions that's being asked that I was able to answer or help anybody. And from that, got a lot of attention. Ended up going on the Bigger Pockets podcast, which was the first podcast I was on. And then from there, got onto many others after that. But it was the opportunity to show yourself off by just showing that you had some expertise in a field, and that was kind of a way of putting yourself out there. And that's something that I think people need to do, is somehow have some kind of leadership platform or method to show people that you have an expertise in the field that you're in. So, and then
Exactly.
people start following you or looking at you for answers, or they'll ask you questions as far as investments or whatever it is.
Yeah. When you share value, you automatically attract on the platform, regardless of which platform. In my case, having done on LinkedIn more active content than other platforms, I've noticed that the ratio of people booking me. So I have in my form, Calendly form, about 10 questions. Most people look at that and think, wait, what is this? If they don't know me, they will go at the Calendly link and think that, wait, you have too many questions. I'm not filling that out. But you can look right now, I'm fully booked. And it is thanks to LinkedIn. Most find my posts valuable in one way or another, and then they want more. And that is an excellent way of showing that, hey, please take the time to fill out this so I can know more about you. That way I can make the most of the meeting. And I think, wait, we're halfway. So we're gonna do a short ad, and feel free to stick around. So today's episode, or today's event, is sponsored by govnetwork.com. It's a community of active and passive investors. You should definitely check it out. If you're an active investor or a passive investor, go to gov.com. Oh, govnetwork.com and check it out. You have to have a referral to get into the network. So reach out to me or any of the other members, Jim Biggs, Senior. There are many of us. Um, you can also follow the LinkedIn page, GOB Network, and that way you can see other of the members that are active. So that was a short ad. Thank you so much for staying here with us, and let's go to the next comment here. Feel free to continue to bombard the comments because the more you do, the more you put yourself out there. And wait 1 second before we go there. On LinkedIn today, I shared a couple of things that you can do in a networking event. And the first thing that I said was, your network is your net worth, which is a quote we say a lot in the in business spaces. I shared, how do you increase the value of your network? One way is by attending network events and open up new relationships by providing value. Now, here are two ways to add value when networking. One is listening actively and showing interest by asking relevant questions that help you the most in your journey right now. I'm gonna stop there real quick and ask Jeff a question. When you're on Clubhouse, podcasts, or uh, on a platform, and you get a specific question that can help the person, in their journey. It's not a, hey, what do you do when you have this situation? It's not relevant to them. Do you feel more engaged to actually help the person out when they're asking a highly valuable question that could actually help them right now?
I mean, I always want to help people out. I mean, that's always the way I've operated. Is it's uh, you could talk about when you're climbing up a ladder, you have one hand reaching up to help yourself and the other hand reaching down to help the next guy. And because I've had people above me that have been willing to help me out, I certainly want to help the person down below me as well. Um, I've always been that way, and it comes back. It comes back to you. You help people out, so I'm always happy to help anybody out. But the main thing that I tell people is you also need to work on yourself as well. I've had people come to me with totally no knowledge, nothing, and say, "Hey, can you mentor me?" And I said, "Okay, where are you now? And what have you done for yourself?" And maybe they've done absolutely nothing. So I would send them off for a couple of research projects, reading a few books. There's a couple of books I would recommend and say, here, read this and then come back and talk to me. So at least you have some basis that we can have a conversation and are talking the same language. And I don't have to teach you the total elementary stuff. I could move you at a better level. And so that's typically my response. There's so many ways to learn the basics, but you have to be motivated yourself. This business isn't going to do it for you. You have to have some motivation, and certainly having people that are more knowledgeable can help you out, but you have to do the work yourself. It's still doing the work, and then coming back and answering intelligent or asking intelligent questions is how you're going to learn. But you've got to get some basis. And so, yeah, I'm always helping people out, but I also encourage people to listen to podcasts, to read books, and to learn in any way that they can. And then I'm even more willing to help them out because they're willing to help themselves out. Long answer to your question.
But it's a great answer because that is the point of networking. At least in my case, I want help. I also want to help others. It's I don't know if it's just about being a go-giver or being a person who just common sense can be common practice sometimes. It's not always, but sometimes helping others definitely is the way to expand on your network. And if you have questions, I mean, anytime somebody's asking me on either wait, that looks funny. I'm creating the banner here. 1 second. Now I have it. Okay. So anytime anybody asks, either on Clubhouse, on Facebook, on the Facebook events, or on LinkedIn events, or wherever I am networking, if they ask a personal question, or not a personal question, but a question that could actually help them right then take action and would serve them well, I feel obliged, like obligated. Sorry, not obliged, but also obliged. But I feel obligated that hey, of course I want to help you. I already know the answer. Here you go. And um, it's a beautiful way to engage in a relationship. Once again, we have more questions we have more in the comments. By the way, y'all are very active today, and we're super grateful to have you. So, without further ado, good question. I would say, wait, already covered that. That sounds great, Eric. Being personable is something that goes a long way. Building trust is important. Being authentic is also a great, and will give you many connections. Also by Cecilia, Sam, Jeff. Would you say there's something that you wouldn't recommend doing on LinkedIn, and why wouldn't you do that? That's an awesome question. Would you wanna go first? Do I go first, Jeff?
You could go first.
Sure. So, okay, we already said pitch slapping is not okay. Like, stop, just stop. It's not fun, but I mean, it kind of is funny. There are some LinkedIn creators that take pictures of the pitch slappers, and you know, you can end up on one of those lists where you will be publicly shamed in front of hundreds of thousands of people. So I wouldn't do that. I, like that's something that I highly recommend. Avoid, not wait. Instead of saying avoid, I would rather say create the first impression rather than saying just your business about you. You could just say, hey, and name. So if it's Cecilia, for example, you're the one asking the question. Connecting with Cecilia, I actually remember this. Anyways, a different story. Let's go with Eric instead, because okay, connecting with Eric, the first message to Eric would be, "Hi Eric, you're very engaging in our event. Thank you so much for the engagement, and I really appreciate your energy and your thoughts." That could be the personalized note. That shows I listened. That shows that I acknowledge his, contribution to the event, and it starts it off in a very very genuine way. If not, I now say, for instance, Hamad, who was at least here chatting earlier, who was saying, I mean, connecting with Hamad. And let's say that I don't know Hamad and I don't know anything about him, but I see his profile, and it's an excellent profile example. Go to his profile, and you will see that you learn a lot about him. Hands off mess. What is that? I want to know more. Or I go to Jeff. I find out about synergetic investment group, and I learn a little bit about them. But I don't start the relationship by saying, "Hey, this is what I can do for you. Here you go." Like that's something that I would highly recommend. Like just don't go that way. Yeah. What would you say are some things that are don't do, like big no-nos on LinkedIn? Here's the question, Jeff. What would you say?
Well,
yeah,
yeah, that one. Yeah, I mean, you hit it as far as just jumping in there and pitching right away is probably the biggest one. Just trying to sell yourself. I mean, I think a relationship starts with learning about each other, and I would start with Rather start with, um, finding out about the other person. A lot of times, I mean, I've gone to conferences and people that are newer go and say, hey, I don't know how to network. What should I do? And I say, hey, go up to that person over there and ask them what they're doing in the business. Ask them about their business. People like to talk about themselves. Learn about them before you tell them about yourself. And then, once they've told about what they're doing, and then, you can expect that they'll probably reciprocate, which they don't always do,
I mean,
but to learn about you. I mean, this isn't a business relationship. This isn't a personal relationship. How many of you have gone on a personal relationship where all somebody wants to do is talk about themselves? And you're sitting there bored to death because they're really not interested in you. Well, that kind of sucks. You know, um, you're never going to go on that date again. That's forget that one. You want people to be interested in you, interested in your business, and not just being concerned about their business. How can we work together? How can we form a relationship? So it's on mutual respect and mutual interest in what the other person is doing. Otherwise, it just isn't going to be much of a relationship.
as well said, man, 100%. That's a great way to network too, asking about that person. Eric's put here in the chat earlier. What are some low ROI activities that can steal time on LinkedIn? For those that don't know ROI, it's return on investment. But so, what would you say are some low ROI activities? Want me to go first again? I have a great one.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a good answer for that. Like I said, I'm not so active on it. I could tell just doing the browsing and sitting there flipping through, the tons of stuff
Yeah,
on LinkedIn
yeah.
or any of the
Nobody can
other.
see that. Nobody can see
What's
that
that?
you read their post. Like that's something that I would add. Like nobody can see that
Oh
you
yeah,
browsed
yeah.
for 8 hours. Nobody knows that you actually read their content for 4 months. I have a lot of people who show up in a Zoom meet and they worked up the courage to fill in the form, and now we're meeting. And and they say, I've been following you for like 4 months. I've seen you go here to here to here, and you've done all of this stuff. And I've never seen you comment. I've never seen you like. I've never seen you engage with any of the content that I put up. So for me,
Hmm.
I haven't even known that you. I mean, before the hour that I take out of my like calendar, I put in half an hour to 45 minutes to research a person. Before then, I don't know anything about you. And that's just in case you haven't engaged in my content or engaged in other people's content. So if you're not commenting, if you're not posting, maybe not the posting part as much, but if you're not commenting and engaging in conversations that we both are in one way or another, maybe it's in the comment section, maybe it's in a networking environment. If I don't, that is a low ROI activity right there. It will steal hours of your day to just browse without letting people know, hey, this is what I found useful in your post, or hey, this is interesting. This is what I would like to add. This is a question that I have in reading your post. Now I want to know more about this. So that's a great, I mean, yeah, just it's a great time waster. We have
Yeah,
another
there's
one from
plenty of
Eric. Sure. There's plenty of feel free.
plenty of time wasters. You could be
Yeah,
flipping through. You could be flipping through social media forever. The time just
yeah,
disappears.
exactly. We have Eric sharing that the phase that Jeff talked with the person who wants to mentor is a sign that with LinkedIn, you can connect with people who are willing to help. Oh, that's a beautiful compliment.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
the fact.
there's plenty of people that can. There's plenty of people that will help. I mean, and I don't mind doing it either. But I mean, it's just the main thing is that you've got to show that you're willing to do something yourself. And all those people that I've sent back to read the book and come back and maybe I'll do some mentoring with you, they ended up not coming back. I don't know if they got discouraged or what, or got somebody else to to hold their hand or something. But when you're teaching a baby to walk, if they're not interested, it's not going to happen. I don't care what you do. If they're not interested, it ain't going to happen. So, they've got to show that they've got some interest themselves. And then it's much more rewarding to see the success of the person because they put the effort in and then you added to it. And now they're doing something successful. But you got to put the effort in and show you're ready. If you're not ready, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah. And also taking those steps when you have help and showing that, hey, I did listen, I did, take action on what you said. Oh, I wish more people did that. But then again, most people don't. And it's just numbers kind of thing. Let's go to the next. Yes, there's
some
many
people
out
just
there.
expect that you're going to you're going to go to a conference or a boot camp and if you pay 25 grand, you're going to get this injection and all of a sudden you're going to be successful. Well, that ain't going to happen. Yeah. You don't get just injected with the knowledge.
Exactly. Action takers are the ones that are creating the world. So yes, says Cecilia, there's many out there that want to help out. If you're also a go-giver, you will attract others too that want to help out. That's beautiful. Hamad is still here. More work to do. We're getting there. Okay, awesome. Great that you're here. Okay, wait. What are you working on right now? The fact that. Okay. So feel free to add more in the comments. I would like to share a couple of things that I started to do in the beginning of posting. So in the commercial real estate space, I could put, wait, can I put this tag like this? So there are some highly active people on LinkedIn that post daily and that have done this for years. One of them are Jonah Weiss, and if you haven't heard of him, go to his profile, follow him for a little bit, and you can see how somebody who's done this for a while now, how it's actually done. So what happened in August was he facilitated a challenge, LinkedIn Cray 10 challenge. I think that's what it's called. But it's like commercial real estate 10-day challenge, right? Where we post daily for 10 days. Now, if you've never posted ever, that's going to feel daunting. If you've never commented, that's going to be even worse because you have a lot of people in the group who are supporting each other and all that. So that's a lot of work that people don't really see. You can't see the benefit like the first day, and you don't feel the benefit the fifth day maybe. After the challenge, for me at least, I completed the challenge. I did my 10 days, 18 comments, 18 likes every day, and it's a great challenge to do, and just to flex your consistency muscle for social media. And after the challenge, I realized, wait, everybody in my group, I'm now connected. And now there are people outside of that network that I have, when I post, now they see it too. So it's not just the first connections that see my post, it's also my second, which is more vast. That's the beauty of LinkedIn and posting on LinkedIn. Let's say you're posting on another platform. I'm not saying any platform names right now, but they don't have that built in the platform itself. The same way as you have third connections, you have second connections, and you have your first. So that's something that I started to do. I started to engage with the second connections. I started to notice that, whoa, I got more people starting to reach out to me. I could reach out more to people too. I just kept that going. There are other challenges that I've joined since, one which is Brand 30. I can put in the link for the February challenge. Now 30 days, going from 10 days to 30 days for me felt very, very daunting, even though I had already posted for about, I think it was 15 to 20 days before I joined that challenge. It's still going to feel, okay, in my case, I felt overwhelmed. how can I talk for 30 days about things in the commercial real estate space? Most people are posting the same thing. I don't want to be like them. I want to post my own thing. So finding that material or creating posts felt daunting in the beginning. Then I realized that I don't have to create. I can just share what's happening right now. So some of my posts, like today's post, was about this networking event. What have I learned from networking events that I could share with my network, that they could share with their network? Some of the posts in the past couple of months, they get shared multiple times because I'm not looking to create something new or create something whatever. I'm looking to just share the lessons that I'm learning right now as I'm going. So that at least helped me a lot. We have Eric sharing that I've seen LinkedIn is super powerful for that exposure. Instagram simply doesn't have that. You're absolutely right. Unless you go live, Instagram live, you barely tap into your own network. So much less that you're tapping into people outside of your network. So yeah, that's the utility with that app. Anyways, we have a little bit more time. Jeff, would you like to share with people where people can find you? Where's best way? Oh, how would you like to be connected? Maybe that's the best question. How would you like people to connect with you?
People could connect with me through my website, synergetic.ig.com, synergetic.ig.com, or email me at jeff@synergetic.ig.com. Those are probably the two best ways to get a hold of me and communicate with me. We can set up an appointment to talk. Always happy to talk to people and see if I could help you along. See if there's something we could do together. Okay, you've got the spelt out one, but that's okay. I've got the short.
The full link.
Yeah, that's fine that way. Link? Well, the shorter one is a little easier for people. Synergetic IG. So I abbreviate investment group. That I also have that domain.
Right. Wait 1 second. I will put it in the chat. Okay, so you can also click this chat, which is synergetic.ig.com, and connect with Jeff that way. Much better.
Little less typing.
Yeah. Hey, any last questions from the audience? Otherwise, I'm Samson Olmedo's. Best way to connect with me. Well, I would say LinkedIn is the easiest because it's where I'm most active. If you're reaching out on any of the other platforms like TikTok, any of the other ones, my tag is I am Sam, like this, and it's spelled weird because somebody took I am Sam. There's a lot of Sams. They also took I am Samson, so I can put those. Anyways, that's my tag. That's how you find me. And you can also find me on capitalraisersclub.com or olmedos.com, which is last name.com. Right. Any last questions from the audience before we take off and continue our date? Feel free to put in the chats where you're at, how to best connect with you. We will show it here in the streaming, and let's see how many people will connect with you. Be mindful that this is shared to YouTube, it's shared to Facebook, it's also shared here on LinkedIn. So people will be able to find you once you share your information. So if you don't want that, don't chat. I'm just kidding. All right. So thank you so much for being here today, and this was fun, Jeff. Let's connect. It's been a while. It's been Christmas and everything in between last episodes. So hey, before we cut this up, I would like to invite you all to also join us on Thursday's interview. On Thursdays we have interviews. Tuesdays we have the networking event at capitalraisersclub.com. So this Thursday is Michelle Lee I can't pronounce the last name, but Michelle Lee, the one that I'm connected with, she's being interviewed, and she's going to share about building relationships. It's very, very, I'm super excited because she also knows how to communicate and what ways, what languages you use, because we all have different ways we want to be communicated to. There are different personality types and the many ways that you can connect and network at events or when you're going. Awesome, we have Hamad sharing his too. So feel free to join us on Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time. It's noon Mountain Time. If you're in Pacific, it's going to be, is it 11 for you, Jeff?
I'm 2 hours off of Central, 2 hours behind
Right,
Central.
so it's 11.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it's 11 Pacific time, time, and all the other time zones. So many time zones right now. Anyways, see you all Thursday. One last outro. This event is sponsored by gobnetwork.com. To become a member of the GOB network, you need a referral. So connect through gobnetwork.com or on the LinkedIn page. You go to GOB Network, you follow the page, you see who's active in the comment sections of the posts, you connect with them, you ask, hey, can I also join? You show up for a couple of meetings, maybe you get in, maybe you don't. Anyways, it's a great networking community and network for active investors, for passive investors, for people who are moving in the real estate space. So definitely check it out, gobnetwork.com. I'm getting better at this sponsorship stuff. Oh, I would like to say another thing.
What'd you do? Freeze?
If you'd like to sponsor, send us an email. That's it. That's it for today. All right. I'm going to go for a swim. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.